Battlefield 6 has received some pretty important updates since its release, but this update aims to be just that much more important. The update I'll be covering, which officially releases on June 9th, includes a new map, new weapons, new modes, and probably most importantly, massive visibility updates to the gameplay of Battlefield 6. But that isn't everything. We have a full list of patch notes to go over in this video. I will leave timestamps in the description. If you find this content informative, if you want to stay up to date with Battlefield 6, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and check out my second channel, as well as my brand new Spotify channel, where all of my YouTube content automatically gets posted. And if you've never come by one of my Twitch streams, I have something very special planned for the release of this update on June 9th, so follow my Twitch stream. That link will also be in the description. This Battlefield 6 update represents the second part of Season 2. In terms of new content you can expect to receive on June 9th, we'll be getting a brand new event, a new map in Grand Bazaar, a new mode with Obliteration returning to the Battlefield franchise, a brand new weapon. It is the PP-19. Yes, it is that infamous submachine gun that you're thinking about. A brand new recon gadget, which is the handheld jammer. Apparently, this gadget is a new recon gadget that disrupts nearby electronic devices for a short period of time. On top of that, they're finally adding Battle Royale solo mode to RedSec, some brand new weapon attachments that are the cryogenic barrel and double-aught buckshot for shotguns. The cryogenic barrel improves ADS time and improves accuracy during sustained fire. This seems to be a variant of the heavy barrel. And the new double-aught buckshot is basically a standard penetration shotgun ammunition, just with increased range and damage per pellet, but with fewer pellets per shot. Another new feature coming to the game is sprays. Yes, they're adding sprays to the game, like Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2. And for those of you that are unaware, there is a Battlefield 6 free trial that is starting June 9th and will end on June 15th. So if you've been wanting to play Battlefield 6 but just can't justify the money, there is a free trial period coming up. That does it for the new content being added in this update. However, we still have the entire patch notes to go over. Starting with the player section, the first big change they made in this section is they made sure the hit effect prediction has been, quote, improved to better align blood effects and other impact feedback with the confirmed hit result. This is basically just meant to make sure you know if you hit a player a bit more consistently. They also made sure that lethal damage your soldier takes transitions you into the death state way more consistently, so dying, quote-unquote, feels better and more responsive. But the massive changes in the player section have to do with soldier visibility. They have improved the soldier blood impact effect just to improve its visibility. The soldier visibility filter now activates reliably after respawning, and the soldier visibility filter has received a massive broad pass to improve readability across varied combat environments, including reduced visual noise around enemy soldiers, better adaptation between dark interiors and bright outdoor areas, improved contrast and silhouette definition, more consistent visibility at close and long range, and fewer visual artifacts around soldiers in fog. Basically, you should be able to see soldiers a lot easier now with this new and improved soldier visibility filter. It's worth noting that some of you might have the soldier visibility filter disabled in your settings. I highly recommend you go in the game and you check whether or not the SoVis filter is enabled. Moving on to the vehicle section, they have some big things in this as well. First off, there's a developer note saying that they made the radar system passive for attack helicopters, so that basically all attack helicopters have air radar 24/7, and you are allowed to now select an additional piece of vehicle equipment in place of selecting air radar. They also went ahead and added a brand new piece to the equipment slots of vehicles. These are thermal optics. Thermal optics are incredibly controversial within Battlefield. Some people think they shouldn't be in the game at all. I know they were notorious in games like Battlefield 4, but they just added them to Battlefield 6 for the attack helicopter. We'll have to see how this actually plays out. But that isn't all for vehicles. For the people asking about air radar, they did have this dev note here. It says air vehicle radar and minimap range have been expanded when radar is available. They also added a brand new weapon to the mobile anti-air. It now has access to high-velocity rockets and laser-guided AA missiles. The high velocity rockets have extremely limited guidance, so they have to be more manually aimed, but they're much higher velocity. They apparently require you to be extremely accurate initially, but they have higher damage potential output than some of the other options. And the aim-guided anti-air missiles carry smaller explosive payloads, but they make up for this with, quote, substantially improved velocity and maneuverability. Moving on to the gadget section, again, there's a dev note to start this section off. They say, in Season 2, we reduced the velocity and acceleration of the RPG in order to make it require more skill in order to hit aircraft with it. This change has been broadly successful, but the trajectory of the projectile could feel unintuitive to players, often causing them to miss at closer ranges. Based on that, we reworked the RPG projectile trajectory and changed the zeroing ranged. This is them essentially just telling us the RPG now goes where you point it. The other massive change in the gadget section has to do with the portable mortar. There is another dev note for this. The developers say, since the start of Season 3, we've continued to monitor the portable mortar and how it performs in stationary playstyles. With this update, we're further increasing the risk of staying deployed in one location for too long, making it more important to reposition between volleys to avoid return fire from enemy players. So make sure to pack up and move before the enemy returns fire. And then they list a bunch of changes they made to the mortar. The mortar health has been reduced from 250 all the way down to 50. This is to make sure that if a mortar counter-mortars you, one shell will destroy your mortar. On top of this, the mortar replenish time has been increased from 10 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds, and the enter prompt radius has been decreased from 1.5 meters to 1 meter, so you actually have to be closer to the mortar in order to use it. But one of the biggest changes regarding the mortar is the fact that the portable mortar and the missile intercept system, or deployable APS for infantry, can no longer be equipped together. This is to prevent gigantic, basically impenetrable mortar dens, where you just put a bunch of these APS systems around you and it destroys all incoming projectiles. Moving on to the weapon section, there are some incredibly important changes that have been made to the attachment costs of particular attachments. The first really impactful one for gameplay is the extended barrel attachment on all weapons now only costs 5 points. This has been reduced all the way from 15 points, and the developers say in the patch notes, this no longer provides an aiming down sights benefit. This change is intended to support greater attachment and weapon build diversity, especially on weapons with fewer barrel options. So extended barrels are going to be a much more attractive option when it comes to your barrel of choice on your weapon. And extended barrels are extremely powerful because they increase the velocity of your weapon. The other large change in this section is they made sure the burst fire attachment, which was added in Season 3, doesn't accidentally apply its recoil benefits to weapons that are using it in full auto mode. Apparently, you could just equip the burst fire attachment on the SG553R and then switch it back to full auto, but because you had burst fire equipped, it would reduce your recoil, but it was bugged, so it was applying the recoil reduction to you using it in full auto. So that catastrophic bug was fixed, and the rest of the weapon section is just a bunch of miscellaneous bug fixes, fixing a ton of stuff like aim position regarding attachments, bugs where the attachment is literally off of the weapon. Moving on to the UI and HUD section, ladies and gentlemen, the orange dots should be no more, or at least they should be less annoying. The developers have this to say about it. They say, we're making an initial adjustment to how new markers appear in the play menu. These markers should now reappear less often on tiles that you've already viewed, helping reduce unnecessary visual noise when moving through the menu. Another really important change that should have been featured in the visibility section of this update is just mentioned in the UI section here. It says that hit indicators for soldiers have been adjusted to be less intrusive, sit further away from the crosshair or sight, remain more visible on bright backgrounds, and use improved hit and kill indicator animations. The hit markers are actually a large part of why a lot of people have trouble seeing what they're shooting at, because a lot of people don't go into the settings and they don't change the opacity of these things. And it's understandable because it is one of those things that you can very easily just overlook it when you're playing the game. But when you're shooting at somebody in Battlefield 6 and you hit them and there's a gigantic hit marker that appears in your weapon's sight, it's kind of a problem. So I'm really happy to see them address this small but still very important aspect of visibility tuning in Battlefield 6. Moving on to the settings section, there is a massive change here that is listed that I really wasn't expecting. They say some changes have been made to improve the consistency and responsiveness of input, specifically for users of some high polling rate devices and PC configurations where stuttering could occur while aiming. I have received a lot of YouTube comments asking me if I experience weird aim feel or stuttering in Battlefield 6, and I personally don't experience any, but it's very clear to me that just based on the amount of comments that many people do, so hopefully this change here just improves the game flat out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap this video up. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the sub button. Over 50% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you enjoyed the video, if you found it informative, do me a favor and check if you're subbed, hit the like button, swing by the streams. Remember, guys, I have something special planned for the 9th. You don't want to miss the Twitch stream. Definitely follow that link in the description, and check out my second channel and my Spotify channels. All links will also be in the pinned comment. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'm looking forward to the update on June 9th. I do think the addition of Grand Bazaar on top of the visibility improvements are going to be the highlights of this update, and the visibility improvements in particular are going to be extremely impactful during the everyday gameplay of Battlefield 6. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.